The ongoing shadow war between Israel and Iran is one of the most complex, consequential, and least understood conflicts shaping the modern Middle East. Unlike conventional wars marked by armies clashing across front lines, this battle unfolds through cyberattacks, covert operations, proxy conflicts, assassinations, and strikes far from either nation's borders. It is a quiet but dangerous war, one that simmers beneath the surface and occasionally erupts into public view, raising fears of a broader regional conflagration. The roots of this conflict are deeply ideological, strategic, and historical. Since the 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran, the country's leadership has positioned itself as the vanguard of resistance against Israel, which it refuses to recognize as a legitimate state. Iran's support for militant groups such as Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, and various Shia militias across the region is aimed at encircling Israel and keeping it under pressure. From Tehran's perspective, Israel is an illegitimate occupier of Muslim land and a close ally of the United States, Iran's other principal adversary. For Israel, Iran represents an existential threat, not just because of its nuclear ambitions, but also because of its growing influence across Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, and Yemen, creating what Israeli leaders call a ring of fire around their nation. This war has been fought in the shadows for over a decade, but it has intensified dramatically in recent years. Syria has become a major battleground. As the Syrian civil war raged, Iran took advantage of the chaos to entrench itself militarily in the country, establishing bases, deploying drones, and arming Hezbollah with precision-guided missiles. Israel, in turn, has carried out hundreds of airstrikes on Iranian targets in Syria, often without claiming responsibility. These strikes aim to disrupt weapons transfers and degrade Iran's military infrastructure in the region. It is a cat-and-mouse game where both sides understand the unwritten rules, strike hard, but avoid triggering a full-scale war. Beyond the battlefield, the shadow war extends into cyberspace. In recent years, both nations have ramped up cyber operations against each other. In 2010, a joint US-Israeli cyber attack using the Stuxnet virus reportedly damaged Iran's nuclear centrifuges. Iran has responded with its own cyber offensives, targeting Israeli infrastructure, banks, and even water treatment systems. These cyber attacks are not just symbolic. They aim to disrupt daily life, send warnings, and test the other side's defenses. Unlike bombs and missiles, cyber weapons leave fewer fingerprints, but their impact can be just as severe. Perhaps the most high-profile elements of this shadow war are the assassinations and sabotage operations attributed to Israel's intelligence agency, Mossad. Over the years, several Iranian nuclear scientists have been killed under mysterious circumstances. In 2020, Iran's top nuclear scientist, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, was assassinated near Tehran in a highly sophisticated ambush that Iranian officials blamed on Israel. Meanwhile, mysterious explosions have occurred at Iranian nuclear sites and military facilities, including the Natanz enrichment plant. These operations are calculated to slow Iran's nuclear progress without sparking an open war. Iran, too, is believed to have conducted targeted attacks, including drone strikes on Israeli-linked shipping and plots against Israeli citizens and diplomats abroad. The nuclear issue lies at the heart of this shadow conflict. Iran insists its nuclear program is peaceful, but Israel and much of the international community remain skeptical, especially after the collapse of the 2015 nuclear deal, JCPOA, in the wake of US withdrawal in 2018. Since then, Iran has accelerated its enrichment activities, raising fears that it could move closer to building a nuclear weapon. Israel has vowed to stop Iran from acquiring such a capability at all costs, even if it means acting unilaterally. The potential for miscalculation grows as both sides edge closer to the red lines that could trigger a wider war. What makes this conflict especially dangerous is its complexity and the number of actors involved. Iran's proxy network includes not just Hezbollah and Hamas, but also militias in Iraq and Yemen's Houthis, all of which have at times launched attacks against Israel or its allies. This gives Iran plausible deniability, while keeping Israel in a constant state of alert. Israel, for its part, coordinates closely with the United States and maintains quiet ties with several Arab nations that also view Iran as a destabilizing force. In recent years, normalization agreements between Israel and Arab states such as the UAE and Bahrain have reshaped regional alliances, further isolating Iran and heightening tensions. Recent events have brought the shadow war into sharper focus. Escalations in Gaza, Lebanon, and Syria often reveal the undercurrents of Israeli-Iranian rivalry. In April 2024, Iran launched a direct attack on Israeli territory using drones and missiles in retaliation for an Israeli strike on its consulate in Damascus, a significant escalation that marked one of the most overt exchanges in the conflict. Israel responded with its own strikes deep inside Iran. Though both sides eventually de-escalated, the incident underscored how the line between covert war and open conflict is becoming dangerously thin. Meanwhile, ordinary people across the region live with the uncertainty of this invisible war. In Iran, public frustration grows as the government pours resources into foreign military adventures while the economy struggles under sanctions. In Israel, citizens regularly face the threat of rocket fire, and the sense of being encircled by hostile forces weighs heavily. Yet neither government shows signs of backing down. Both leaders, whether in Tehran or Jerusalem, use the conflict to rally nationalist sentiment and distract from domestic pressures. What's really happening in this shadow war is not just a geopolitical chess game. It's a clash of identities, ideologies, and strategic imperatives. Israel sees itself as fighting for survival in a hostile neighborhood. Iran sees itself as leading a revolutionary axis resisting Western and Israeli domination. This is not a war that will be won on the battlefield, in cyberspace, or through secret assassinations. It is a long, grinding contest for influence, security, and prestige, one that risks spiraling into a catastrophic war if diplomacy fails. As the world watches this shadow war unfold, the stakes could not be higher. A single miscalculation, an unchecked escalation, or a botched covert mission could ignite a regional war involving global powers. Yet because much of this conflict happens out of public view, it often lacks the urgent international attention it deserves. Understanding the Israel-Iran shadow war means looking beyond headlines and into the quiet, dangerous struggle reshaping the Middle East, and recognizing how close the region may be to a point of no return.